Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you all are keeping fine and safe. So let's start our video today. In this video, as you can see, there is one very important question which may appear for your exam, that is, critically examine the financial emergency powers of the president and their effects. Now, you know very well that emergency is a situation where our normal rights, our normal things may not have operated. So let's come to the answer. There are many a times when a nation is unexpectedly and suddenly overtaken by events and forces which seriously endanger its security and the lives of the citizens. Such situations may require that the individual liberties of the citizens may temporarily be suspended in order to cope with the dangers of the confronting nation. So, which means that though there are situations, we are a normal facing a country where there are no emergencies taking place, but there are situations also where there are emergencies, and in those times, all the basic rights, the duties, the fundamental rights and duties that we say, or the basic things that we usually takes place in the life of the citizens are stopped because of the security purposes. So emergency situations place democratic governments in a real-time dilemma. They are very much in a confusion by bringing about a conflict between the primary obligation to protect the integrity of the state and also equally important to protect the human rights of the citizens and other persons with its jurisdictions. The state or the center is forced into a choice between competing values and the sacrifice of one to the other. That is the rationale of emergency provisions which finds place in many national constitutions permitting the suspension of guaranteed fundamental rights. So you know very well our constitution is a constitution which guarantees the fundamental rights. But in this emergency situations, what happens, our fundamental rights or duties are suspended, and what we can do is only focus on the security issue. Emergency provision is a unique feature of Indian constitution that allows the center to assume wide powers so as to handle special situations. And you know very well, it's a special situation. That is why we are terming that as emergency. In emergency, the center can take full legislative and executive control of any state it considers. Emergency provision also allows the center to curtail or suspend freedom of the citizens. Existence of emergency provisions in the Constitution is a big reason why academicians are hesitant to call the Indian Constitution as fully federal. So this is the introduction to your answer. You can also mention the various types of emergencies that we have, which I'm coming later on. The Indian Constitution provides for three different kinds of abnormal situations, which calls for a departure from the normal governance or normal governmental machinery set up by the Constitution. Firstly, an emergency due to war, which is called national emergency. An emergency due to war and external aggression or armed rebellion, which is mentioned in Article 352, which is termed as national emergency. Second type of emergency, failure of constitutional machinery in states, which is mentioned in Article 356. This is also known as presidential rule. Next, we know the third important emergency that may arise in a country is financial emergency, which is mentioned in Article number 360. So this can be the introduction of your answer. Whenever you're writing about the financial emergency, please don't start directly with the answer. Give a brief introduction as I have given you about the three emergencies that are present or which is mentioned in Indian Constitution along with the article number, and then you can begin with the answer directly. See, now we are talking about the answer in direct, which is about the financial emergency. This is the third type of emergency, which is called financial emergency, which is provided under the Article 360. It provides that if the president is satisfied that the financial stability or credit of India or any of its part is in danger, he or she may declare the state is going through financial emergency. Under such situation, the executive and legislative power will go to the center only. Like the other two types of emergency that I mentioned, if you have forgotten, that is national emergency and constitutional emergency, it also has to be approved by the parliament. It must be approved by both the houses of the parliament within 2 months. Since you know it's an emergency situation, so it has to be approved within 2 months. Financial emergency can operate as long as the situation demands and may be revoked by a subsequent proclamation or with the growing or increasing development. The proclamation that is issued under Article 360 is, firstly, it may be revoked or varied by a subsequent proclamation. It shall be laid before each House of Parliament. It shall cease to operate at the expiration of 2 months unless, before the expiration of that period, it has been approved by resolutions of both the Houses of the Parliament. The three clauses under 360 article, that is, firstly, it can be revoked by various subsequent proclamation. It shall be laid before each House of the Parliament, and lastly, it will cease to operate after the expiration of 2 months. Now we will talk about the effects of the financial emergency. What can be the ultimate effects of the financial emergency? The proclamation of financial emergency may have the following consequences, which I'm going to discuss right now. The union government may give direction to any of the states regarding financial matters. Okay, this is the sole power of the union government only. The president may ask the state to reduce the salaries and allowances of all or any class of person in government service. Now you understand very well, this is a state of financial emergency where we are facing crisis with money, right? So in such a situation, normal salary or normal allowances is very difficult to expect. In such a situation, the president very obviously can ask either no salary or reduce salary for the people working through government service. The president may ask the states to reserve all the money bills for the consideration of the parliament after they have been passed by the state legislature, right? So all money bills may have been suspended or they might have been reserved till the financial emergency condition is over. The president may also give directions for the reduction of salaries and allowances of the central government employees, including the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. If this financial emergency situation is in a particular state, even the central may be affected as money is circulated in the entire India and it is not fixed to or regulated through one state only. So in that case, the central government may take a decision of reducing the salaries of the judges of High Court, Supreme Court, or any other central government employees. As per Article 360, that is first clause, if the president is satisfied that a situation has arisen whereby the financial stability or the credit of India or any part of the territory thereof is threatened, he may be a proclamation making a declaration to that very particular effect. The authority to impose such emergency is with the president only. Only the president can take such authority and pass such an emergency decision. However, this does not exempt the president's power from judicial review. That means the judiciary will definitely examine and debate on this decision that has been taken. The 44th Amendment in the year 1978, also known as the Corrective Amendment, very importantly, you can mark this, says that the top court has the power to review the declaration of financial emergency. Within 2 months of its issuance, a declaration of financial emergency must be approved by a simple majority in both the houses of the parliament, that is, the Lok Sabha along with the Rajya Sabha. If the Lok Sabha is dissolved, then the Rajya Sabha may approve it. But the Lok Sabha must approve it within 30 days after it is reconstituted. Once the declaration is approved by both the houses, it lasts indefinitely, that is, without any maximum period if it is not mentioned, without the need of further legislative approvals. The proclamation may be revoked by the president at any time without the consent of the parliament. This is very important. That is as per Article 361. All these crucial points are there. You can write it in points. I have mentioned it in paragraphs. Now, what are the implications of financial emergency? Firstly, the union gets all the power to give financial orders to the states based on its own policies. So the state's decision or any guidance will not be followed. Only the decisions taken by the union and its ultimate power will be exercised. The president may order the states to limit the salary and allowances of the government employees. This may be state government employees also, but in certain cases, it may be the central government employees also, including the judges, as I told you, the judges of High Court and Supreme Court. Money bills and other financial bills can be reserved that come for review by the president after passing through the state legislature. Fourthly, the president has the authority to order for the reduction of the salaries and allowances, as I told you, of central government employees, including the Supreme Court and the High Court judges. But let me say you a very important thing that you should mention in your answer, that financial emergency has never been imposed in India till date. We do have the clauses, we have everything mentioned in our constitution, but till date, financial emergency had not been mentioned. So this is the correct answer or the detailed answer to the question that you're supposed to write. Let me give you a quick recap or a summary. Critically examine the financial emergency powers of the president and their effects. Firstly, there are times when we are unexpectedly taken or suddenly overtaken by certain forces, and this definitely disrupts our Indian citizens' condition, and our rights, duties, everything is suspended, and only our security can be kept into focus. So this is a rationale of emergency provisions, which definitely finds a place in Indian Constitution, permitting the suspension of guaranteed fundamental rights. So our fundamental rights will definitely be affected if there is a situation of emergency. Emergency provision is a very unique feature of Indian Constitution. There may be various types of emergencies, as I told you, in the country, and existence of emergency provision in the Constitution is a very big reason why academicians are hesitant to call Indian Constitution as completely federal. So the three emergencies that can take place is firstly national emergency, which is mentioned in Article 352, which is a situation of emergency due to war and external aggression or armed rebellion. Next, constitutional breakdown or constitutional emergency, which is the failure of constitutional machinery in one state or more than one state, which is mentioned in Article 356. Lastly, we come to financial emergency, which is the answer to this question, which is mentioned in Article 360. So what is this financial emergency all about? As it is mentioned in 360 article, the president is satisfied that the financial stability is not there, or the credit of India is very much in danger, or part of the credit of India is in danger, then definitely he or she will be declaring a state of financial emergency. So under such a situation, executive and legislative powers will go to the center, and the center will be the one taking all the decisions, and it must be approved by both the houses, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, within 2 months. So there are 3 proclamations made under Article 360. Firstly, it may be revoked or varied by a subsequent proclamation. It shall be laid before each House of Parliament, and it shall cease to operate at the expiration of 2 months. Next, coming to the effects of financial emergency. Firstly, the union government will take the decisions or give direction to the states regarding financial matters. The president may ask the states to reduce the salaries and allowances of the state dependent or state employing employees. And the president may ask the states to reserve the money bills if required. The president may also give directions for the reduction of salaries and allowances of the central government employees as well, including the judges of High Court and Supreme Court. Next, coming to Article 360, Clause 1, it's a very important clause. Financial stability or the credit of India, if it is found in danger, then definitely financial emergency will be declared, and if it is threatened, the president may proclaim a declaration to that effect. Now, the president will definitely take decision to this, but this will not exempt the president from judicial review. That is, the judicial review will be conducting. And according to the 44th Amendment of 1978, it is also termed as corrective amendment. Next, within the next 2 months of its issuance, the declaration of financial emergency, it has to be signed by both the houses, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. But if if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, then within 30 days of its reconstitution, it will have to approve it. Next, once the declaration is passed by both the houses, it will last indefinitely until and unless the president at any time without the consent of the parliament stops it. Coming to the implications, the Union Parliament only will be taking decisions regarding the financial emergency, and all the orders and directions will come from the Union. The President may order the states to limit the salary and allowances of the government employees only. Money bills and financial bills can be reserved, and the President, according to his or her decision, can limit or reduce the salaries of the central government employees, including the Supreme Court and the High Court. But very importantly, India till date has not experienced any financial emergency. So this is the complete answer to the question that I mentioned previously. So you can understand the importance of the question. This is a very important question which can appear for your examination. So if you're not well thorough enough, you can refer to the slides or to the answer that I have given in this video. I'm sure you will find benefit out of this. So please do refer, and I hope you have liked this video. Thank you so much. Stay happy and stay safe. Thank you.